Well, hello and welcome to this month's episode of On Deck with Avoya. I'm your host, Chris Green, Director of Network Expansion. Thank you so much for your time. Just back from the Las Vegas Travel Agent Forum, and what an amazing success that was. 1,000 happy travel agents engaged in all the ways to make their business stronger. And let me tell you, it was very inspiring. I'm also inspired by this month's amazing show. We've got some great guests and information to share with you, including our friend Charles Sylvia, Vice President of Trade Relations and Special Projects for CLIA. Charlie's going to join us for his yearly appearance. He's always so excited. He's engaged to share his passion for cruise sales and what he loves about frontline travel agents. So we're excited to welcome Charlie back to the program here in just a little bit. Athena Runyon is our Avoya Travel Network spotlight agent this month. Athena runs Athena's Travel LLC, an independent agency in the Avoya Network, and we can't wait to hear the advice that she has to share. Laura Burke also joins us for her monthly tip, and I love what Laura had to say when I asked her, "Hey, Laura, what are you covering this month?" She said, "Well, Chris, it's Q number 2, and we've got business to handle." So I can't wait to hear Laura's tip coming up here later on in our program. And we'll kick our show off here in just a moment with a great interview with Sharon Mag, a regional sales director for Allianz Travel Insurance. Selling trip protection is vital for your agency. And guess what? It's smart for your bottom line. So we look forward to welcoming Sharon to our show here in just a moment. And of course, at the end of the program, we'll make sure that you have all the ways to reach out and get started with the process to affiliate, if you're not already affiliated, with the number one host agency in leisure travel, as voted by the travel industry, and that's Avoya Travel. So stay tuned. On Deck with Avoya. We'll be right back after this word from our sponsors.
What if the best way to answer an unexpected world is with an unexpected insurance partner? A partner who's proven and pioneering, who understands that personal is powerful and gives you a grounded foundation to be truly groundbreaking. Because when you're seeing a world where nothing stays the same, the advantage of doing things differently is everything.
So welcome back to this month's episode of On Deck with Avoya. I'm your host, Chris Green, Director of Network Expansion. We're so excited because we absolutely love our partnership here at Avoya Travel with our friends at Allianz Travel Insurance. So it's such a treat to be able to have as our executive insider this month for On Deck with Avoya, Sharon Mogg, Regional Sales Director, USA for Allianz Travel Insurance. Sharon, thank you for your time and welcome to On Deck with Avoya.
Thank you. Very happy to be here today.
Absolutely. Sharon, before we get too far into our discussion, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of like what being the Regional Sales Director USA for Allianz entails, kind of what your day-to-day is like.
Sure. So I've been with Allianz for 25 years, and there are 5 Barbaras that are out in the field. So I know all of you are familiar with Barbara. If you aren't familiar with Barbara, you'll get to know Barbara. And they're countries. So I've got one of my folks on my team lives in Connecticut, another one is in Ohio, Chicago, and then 2 there in California, Northern California, Southern California. And so the country quite a bit with my job, for sure.
I bet you do. I know we really appreciate the partnership we have here at Avoya Travel with Allianz. So share with me any exciting updates that you think are just vital about the brand as we get ready to head into our busy 2025 summer travel season.
I think the biggest thing, and we've kind of been talking about it for a few months, but it's our new updated Elise app and our telehealth services that are now built into the app. That is kind of a game changer, especially for your clients who are traveling. If there's ever a medical need that they may have, it's really simplified the process to reach out to us and need. So we can set up either a virtual doctor's visit, send them to your hotel room, or you can do it virtually, and it's done seamlessly behind the scenes. So the client isn't going to receive a medical bill. It's paid out of their emergency medical expense. If they did have to get, they maybe go to the pharmacy, pay for that prescription, and then when they return home, file. But because they're in our medical services, we know that it's just going to make that claims process that much more quick and easy. They can identify or pare down a doctor if they need an orthopedic doctor, general practitioner, a dentist, a pediatric doctor, so they can kind of select what type of doctor they need. All of the doctors that are in our services are vetted. So it's not like you're going to go into the hotel concierge and say, hey, I need some help. Can you get a doctor to come to my room? And you really know who these doctors are. Are they vetted? So it's important that those doctors are through our services. They're vetted. And then they also be language, but they would be English speaking doctors. And a lot of times, if you, let's say, get the flu and you are just like, ugh, I'm going to suffer through it. I'm just going to sit in my hotel room until I feel better, because you don't necessarily room, or you don't want to have to go to urgent care or sit in a waiting room, an emergency waiting room in a foreign country. Now you help that process, so you have multiple days of your trip. And it's really been hugely successful. It's a very utilized benefit that's on the policy. So we're extremely happy to see it. It's like I say, it's something that sets it apart. It adds value to the policy. And it should make it easier when you're having to overcome objections when you're offering travel protection. This is one of the reasons why you want to have something like this while you're traveling. So that would be,
I mean, it really goes to the heart, I think. Yeah, the big update for sure, because I really think, Sharon, it goes to the heart of what kind of clients worry about, right? That peace of mind, the peace of mind before the trip. Hey, what if something does happen? And then, of course, the worst case scenario of, something is going on while I'm on a trip, but now I have the peace of mind of this program with the vetted doctors and the seamlessness and no bill. So, again, a real win-win, and what a great update from Allianz.
for sure.
Yeah, so our program On Deck with Avoya attracts a lot of new travel agents to our industry. It's kind of one of the programs they look to try to learn some tips along the way so they can get acclimated to all the craziness that is the travel business. Sharon, any tips that you might be able to share with us today, reasons why it's just so important to offer that trip protection to clients, and why that's a winning move for their agency overall?
Absolutely. So once you use a travel advisor to book travel, they understand how they're coming to you for a reason. And they know that you're offering an expertise that they can't get if they're just going online to book travel. So it is an extension of your services. And it's something that I think that many times when you're selling a travel protection, but it is not that it's an add-on, it truly is the trip. You should be talking about a way to protect their investment early on in the conversation. Once they've selected a type of, whether it's a cruise or tour, make sure you're talking about travel protection early in that conversation so that they're not caught off guard when they're going to purchase it, and it's going to be 7-8% of their trip costs when they go buy a booking. Thing is, it's a great way for you to give your client peace of mind and you to have peace of mind. If something goes wrong while someone, the first thing you're going to think of is, oh my gosh, I hope they have travel protection, because that is going to take the pressure off of you. They're investing in if they know you've got a resource to help out. You can come to us and we can get all those moving parts taken care that you are not the expert in, but we are. The other thing is, it's a great revenue stream for you, especially those who are new to travel, because we pay the following month after you purchase a policy. April are going to be paid in May. And this gives you an opportunity to kind of close the gap as you're waiting for your commissions to come in for those trips you booked. But you don't get paid for cruises and tours until after they've traveled. So it's a great way for you to build your business, but it's also the highest commission product that you sell. So you make more money selling travel insurance commission wise than you do, I mean, percentage, than you do with offering to your clients. So it's a way to protect your clients, protect you for peace of mind, for them mind, and then also a great revenue.
Sharon Mogg, Regional Sales Director, USA for Allianz Travel Insurance, is our featured industry executive insider for this month's episode of On Deck with Avoya. Sharon, I think when I was a frontline agent, and I speak with a ton of agents every day, one of the things that maybe was a bit scary when it came to selling trip protection, and maybe scary is the wrong word, but in making sure you put the right level of protection with the right clients to make sure that they're covered and they still see the value in that coverage. Can you maybe provide any insights on this particular aspect of trip protection, Sharon?
Do not be afraid to sell travel protection. It's a very important component of the trip. But I know that you are a lot of times put in the position of your client is going to be looking at, okay, well, the cruise line offers this insurance, the tour operator offers this insurance. Why should I buy the insurance that you're recommending? Position of kind of having to understanding, basically 2 to 3 different products, and it can be overwhelming. To advisors, listen, you recommend things all day long. You're gonna talk to your client. You're gonna have an understanding. Are they a luxury cruise traveler or are they more budget? And then kind of figuring out what is the best cruise line or tour operator to recommend for them. Same thing works with travel protection. So you need to understand your clients. I say that the cheapest. You never will be. And so you should not be selling our products on price. You should be selling them on value, what they have. So sometimes you could be saving someone a couple $100 up front, but you could be costing them thousands of dollars to file. Don't sell out of your pocket. You want to look at truly what your clients' needs are. So if they're traveling internationally, maybe they're doing more of an exotic destination. For majority of the travel that you sell, that's kind of a product that's the one of. But just you kind of nail down what your client, what type of travel they're doing, and what makes the most sense. Also, luxury average to $200 per person. We hope that you're making a ton of $1 per person bookings. But if you do have one, you've got available to you. Attorney is going to be the go-to. But don't be afraid of protecting your client's investments. It is something that, like I said earlier, if something goes wrong, the first thing you're going to think of is, I hope they had some sort of travel insurance. And so it's just one of those things that travel to sell travel insurance, but they go hand in hand. And it is one of those things that you just want to make sure that about any issues when something happens that they will be taken care of.
That could be a perfect little post-it note. I was one of those agents that had post-it notes everywhere. Don't be afraid to protect your client's investment, because it's just a really simple thought that really makes a lot of sense. What about fun trips on the horizon, Sharon? I know you said you have to travel a lot for work. I hope you get a chance to travel some for play, because being in this business is, seeing this great planet's kind of a nice perk of being in and around the travel industry.
Yes. So I have been traveling so much this year. I did get to do the Avoya trip in January to Italy, and that was lovely. So I definitely enjoyed that thoroughly. I kind of need like a beach vacation. I'm trying to get something on the books for that, just something relaxing. Maybe do a long week in Paris in the fall, just like for 3 or 4 days. Just fly to Paris. see if that'll work. But those are kind of like things I'm thinking about. Official on the books yet, but hopefully soon.
The planning phase is still kind of fun, right? I mean, the daydreaming of what it's going to be like and having that baguette on the left bank, the whole 9 yards. Sherry, before we wrap up today, any thoughts or information that you think is vital to our conversation that you want to make sure you add in?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we were talking about don't be afraid to offer travel protection. Don't sell out of your own pocket. It is one of those things, expensive thing offering from us in compared to supplier insurance. But really, when something goes, we have resources. Pick up the phone. You can pick up the phone and call me. There have been many times where an Avoya claim is involved, and that partnership and that relationship means a ton. And we know if someone from Avoya is reaching out to us, we are going to be quick to answer. And everybody knows your account internally within our company as well. I mean, you're one of our largest partners, and so that it certainly helps. But that partnership, I think, is so important and something we very much cherish and appreciate. So that's one of the things I always say to people. Like, technically, when you're having a hard time selling the insurance, if your client can afford to take the trip or to go along on the trip, then things are getting expensive, and people do not budget for that. An evacuation out of Mexico and the Caribbean is about $56,000. The reason for that is we do not leave people down there. We want to get them back to the U.S. So that's something for that. And then people's on their vacation. I mean, are you going to ride around on a moped in your neighborhood? No. Are you going to get on an ATV and ride on the beach? No. But people do it, and people get injured. Or cobblestones. I mean, I'm a klutz. I have taken a couple spills when I've been traveling. So you really don't have to use it, but that's when things start getting expensive. And I don't care how wealthy your clients are, or if I say I'm just going to self-insure myself. They're not thinking about what can happen when they have to interrupt their trip, come home early, or have a medical expense. They're just thinking about cancellation, and they're not thinking about the other things that could potentially happen. Those things they need to think of to impress upon your clients, and making sure that they realize that to not only protect investment, but protect them in case something happens while they're traveling.
Sharon, one last question before we say goodbye. And you have a unique perspective being on the insurance side of the travel industry, but what are some of the bright spots that you see that should keep all of us that are in the travel industry excited about our future prospects?
I think that, obviously, however, people are still enthusiastic about travel. I think that people want to go still those bucket list trips. They want to go to those more exotic destinations. If they've done, Europe, now they want to do something that's different, further away. And because of that, I think that's where travel protection kind of goes hand in safari that you've never done. You go to Asia and you've never been to Asia before. You're traveling further from home. You sure that you have something to protect yourself. But we do see, travel definitely continues to be a strong point for us, and we see that. I mean, I'm still blown away by how much money people are still spending on travel without a blink of an eye. So, like I mentioned, we cover trips up to $200,000 per person. It's not all the time. I'm hearing from that's enough. And never in a million years did I think that when we had a $100,000 policy that we maxed that out, and now we did a $200,000 policy. So there's still enthusiasm out there. People definitely wanting to travel, doing different things, and that I think is Plus, I think people really, after COVID, understand the importance of travel protection, and they were in need of coverage. And many people still are, because everybody else is being invincible. It's going to happen to me. It's going to happen to someone else. But life happens, and looking at weather, that's a huge thing that could impact someone's trip, and something that really could kind of put a bump in the road. And like spring break, we know these flights are jam packed, and so it gets delay or cancellation, and trying to rebook that flight. Now they've missed a few days of their trip. Those are all things that people don't think about. But again, that's what could really travel protection soften the blow, is really going to make you the hero, and that is going to show the value of what a travel advisor offers, because they're the ones that suggested that you take travel protection. They expert on this, and so that's why they come to you to book travel, and that's what's going to set you apart. And certainly, if your client has a situation, they will remember that, an avid travel insurance purchaser in the future, for sure.
Absolutely. Sharon Mogg, everyone, Regional Sales Director USA for Allianz Travel Insurance. Sharon, thank you so much for your time, those great tips, and all that information that you shared with us on the Allianz program.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate the partnership.
Stay tuned. More On Deck with Avoya coming up after this, including your questions, our answers, Laura Burke's monthly tips, and we'll sit down with Charlie Sylvia, ECC, our good friend from CLIA, and his yearly visit. All coming up on more On Deck with Avoya in just a few moments. Hello and welcome back to this month's episode of On Deck with Avoya. I'm your host, Chris Green, Director of Network Expansion, and it's time for our Q&A segment where you send in the questions and we try to provide the answer. And question number one today is, why is error and omission insurance important for a travel agency owner to carry? And it's really simple. Errors and omission insurance, also known as professional liability insurance, is crucial for travel agency owners because it protects them from financial losses due to mistakes or oversights in their professional services. Let's face it, none of us are perfect. We strive for perfection, but none of us are perfect. So even if a travel agency owner hasn't made a mistake, a dissatisfied client can still file a lawsuit alleging neglect or inadequate service. And E&O insurance can cover that legal cost of defending against such claims, including attorney fees, potential settlements, which can be substantial, and they really can threaten the agency's financial stability. For instance, if a travel agent books the wrong travel dates or provides inaccurate visa information, and that leads to a client's financial loss or travel disruption, the client might decide to sue, right? Once they get a lawyer involved, they sue everybody involved in the whole process. And that's where your E&O insurance would help cover the resulting expenses. It safeguards the agency's assets, and it ensures its continued operation. So win-win-win. So this coverage provides peace of mind, allowing owners to focus on their business without that constant worry of potentially devastating lawsuits. So again, I just think E&O is just so important. And it actually kind of dovetails into our second question today, which is about Avoya Travel and our requirements for those in our network to add additional licenses, or what other people might call sub-agents, to their agreement with Avoya Travel. And the requirements for doing this are actually fairly easy. The lead agent of the agency, who has to be the owner, must have completed the process to learn our agent power system by working with our network enrichment team to become proficient in the use of, again, that agent power CRM. This includes becoming enabled for live leads. It only makes sense. We want the lead agent to be able to help lead their agency as they bring on more people. Number two requirement, the agency must be structured as either an LLC or a corporation, where again, the lead agent has at least 50% ownership and the full signing authority for the business. From a business owner standpoint, Avoya Travel really only wants to deal with one voice, the owner. And number three, the agency must carry, again, going back to E&O, error and omission insurance, at least $500,000 in coverage, and name Avoya Travel as an additional insured on that policy. And again, if you have any questions about E&O, my team is not insurance experts, but they can certainly put you in the right direction and provide some contacts for you to reach out to. And number three comes down to the topic of river cruises. Does Avoya Travel sell river cruises on top of ocean cruises? And of course, yes, we do. Avoya Travel is the number one host agency in the industry, is amazingly strong in the sale of river cruises, and just has deep relationships with all of the major players in that river cruise space. This includes AMA Waterways, who we featured recently right here on an episode of On Deck with Avoya. Our friends at Avalon, River Cruises, Viking, you name it. In the river cruise space, we are very, very strong. In fact, quick side story, the modern cruise godfather is considered Rudy Schreiner, and Rudy is the co-founder and CEO of AMA Waterways. Rudy's famous for an expedition down the Amazon River on a raft he built himself back in the mid 1970s, and that love translated into this new and exciting way to travel. Now, when Rudy was installed into the Cruise Hall of Fame, he specifically signaled out Avoya Travel and our founders, the Anderson family, for having been great partners right there from the very start of the river cruise segment. So, yeah, I would say Avoya Travel is very, very strong in river cruise. And if that's a segment you're looking to sell, again, my team, more than happy to help. Get that requested at avoyanetwork.com. We'll have more On Deck with Avoya coming up, including our sit down with Charles Sylvia, ECC from CLIA. Love our yearly chat with Charlie coming up right here on Deck with Avoya.
Well, hi, everybody. It's Laura Burke, Director of Promotional Operations and Development here at Avoya Travel. Welcome to another Secrets to Success tip. Q1 is always a whirlwind during wave season, so congratulations, you made it to Q2. And depending on where you are in your new business journey, remember that the first few years of owning a business is really about learning. After being in this industry for a few years now, I can say that that's my favorite aspect of the second quarter. So, this is really a good time to pause and take a closer look at what you learned in the past few months. It's a good time to assess your progress, reassess your goals, and take a deep dive into your systems. And then for Q2, it's time to level up. This is a dynamic industry, so I'm going to encourage you to stay curious, be informed, and always be willing to adapt, keeping in mind that every opportunity is a chance for you to learn and grow. Yes, even the challenges provide valuable insight. So let's start this quarter with a renewed commitment to learning, which is going to ultimately be the foundation of your success. And so this is a great time to focus on professional development. And here are a few secrets to success. The first one's not quite so secret, and it's really simple. Asking yourself what you did well in the first quarter. What did you do well? Keep doing it. It's that simple. Then it's time to keep learning and growing. So, number two, I would encourage you to dedicate a specific amount of time each week to your professional development. If that is just keeping up with the industry news, doing some continuing education, and then there's attending events and fam trips. We're getting into that season as well. And then the third secret is goal oriented. And so so that's setting a short-term goal to implement at least one new element into your business strategy in the next 3 months. Remember that success is a process and it really does take time to develop. So are you ready for the next phase of your journey? If so, if not, and you don't know right now, it's okay. Take a minute here. and close your eyes. Take a deep breath, clear your mind, and visualize what success looks like for you and your agency. And know and tell yourself that you've got this. As always, I'm wishing you the best in success, and I'll catch you the next time around. Have a great April.
Sometimes you have to go small to go big. Introducing an entirely new type of tour with limited guests and unlimited fun. Globus Small Group Discovery Tours, specifically designed for travelers that crave the intimacy of a small group but want a worldwide experience of epic proportions. And with an average group size of just 15 travelers, there's plenty of room for moments like this, even this. With over 50 all-new tours designed for the in-crowd, with exclusive excursions and special access that can only be achieved with a small group. Throughout Europe, North America, Asia, Africa, South America, and the South Pacific. Like private wine tastings, thrilling safaris, and enchanting estates. Because the size of your travel group counts. So wherever you go, be it the top of the Swiss Alps, the end of the world in Patagonia, the pagodas of Japan, or the preserves of Kenya, it's time to try the world on for size. Globus Small Group Discovery Tours.
Hi, my name is Athena Runyon, and I own Athena's Travel LLC. I've been with the Avoya Network since middle of October 2024, so just a little under 6 months. And I am so excited to finally being able to achieve my childhood dream of being a travel agent and helping people make wonderful travel memories through leisure travel. When I was doing my research to find which host agency to affiliate myself with, it wasn't extensive, but it was thorough. I did a few discovery Zoom calls with different agencies that just didn't seem to be the right method or modality or structure that I wanted to partner with. And then I did a few discovery phone calls, which is what I did with Avoya. And after many, many questions, because I think that asking a lot of questions is very important. I decided to land with Avoya, and I'm very glad I did. I love the resources. There's a vast amount of resources that Avoya has. Also, the affiliation that Avoya has in partnership with the Travel Leaders Network is highly valuable to me. Also, I think that they have a good balance of supporting you and helping you launch your new career if it's new to you, but also encouraging you to be independent. They don't hold your hand along the way, but they give enough support where you can ask questions and get the help that you need when you need it. And I think one of my main resources that I've used and so appreciated with the Avoya Network is the Early Success Program. This is an optional program that you can opt into in the first year of your time with Avoya. And there's lots of Zoom calls, group calls where you can glean from other new independent agents in the network. Lots of trainings helping you from, knowing how to communicate with prospects and guests and clients to how to tweak your emails and just all the things that you need to know as you're getting launched and how to utilize all of the resources in the Avoya network. So that's one of my favorite parts of being a new independent agent with Avoya is the early success program. And if I could give one tip to anyone who is considering being new to travel or starting their own travel agency, I would say go for it. Believe in yourself. If this is something that you want to do, you can't lose if you just try. And so don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's sometimes the best way we learn. So have a system, be consistent, but go for it. You've got it. Be confident in yourself and know that you can do it. And again, give yourself grace.
At Avoya, we've redefined what it means to be a successful travel advisor. Our all-in-one platform, Agent Power, puts everything you need right at your fingertips, while our exclusive Live Leads program ensures that you're always connected with clients who are ready to book. On top of that, our customizable marketing materials make promoting your agency easier than ever, so you can stand out and attract more business. When you partner with Avoya, you're not just getting the best resources, you're getting a team that's invested in your success. Visit avoyanetwork.com to learn more and get started today. Hello and welcome back to this month's episode of On Deck with Avoya. I'm your host, Chris Green, Director of Network Expansion, and I'm always so excited to welcome back this special guest to On Deck because I think this is Charlie's either fourth or fifth time appearing with us. He's been a great friend since the very beginning of our show, since we started having guests from outside of the Avoya sphere. So please help me welcome again, great friend to On Deck with Avoya, Vice President of Trade Relations, Special Envoy for CLIA, Charles Sylvia, Elite Cruise Counselor. Charlie, so great to welcome you back for another visit to On Deck with Avoya.
Chris, it is such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I love being on deck with on deck with Avoya, and I think if this is my fifth appearance, Chris, do I get like that nice smoking jacket like on SNL when they host for the fifth time?
I'll see what I can do. You know, budgets are a little tight these days, but we can get you a plaque or something like that for sure, Charlie. And we certainly appreciate your time. Hey, before we
Thank
get
you.
too far into our interview, let's kind of cover the bases and share with our audience your amazing travel and your background in the travel industry, and why at heart you're still learning these days a day-to-day travel agent.
Yeah, I am, Chris. And it's so important. So I started out as a travel agent in 1994. It's been 31 years, and I'm still an active travel agent. I do probably about a half a million to 300 to 700,000 approximately a year. Run it through an independent agency, so there's no conflicts. But I can't do my job if I'm not selling cruises. I can't talk to travel advisors and understand their challenges and opportunities if I'm not a travel advisor myself. So I can't just talk the talk. I have to walk the walk as well.
I guess the first question that I'm kind of curious about is what are some of the great things that CLIA is focused on here in 2025? And in your opinion, now that we're just a couple of months into this new year, how has the new year started for the cruise industry?
Well, at CLIA, we couldn't be more excited, Chris, because we have a brand new president and CEO, Bud Dar, and he's incredible. If the folks listening to us don't know about Bud, I absolutely encourage them to Google him. He's the new CLIA president and CEO. He's been with CLIA before as our past senior vice president of maritime policy, and he's just an incredible maritime leader. But most importantly, to me anyway, he is a staunch and enthusiastic supporter of the travel trade. And he really understands and appreciates the fact that travel advisors are the cruise industry's leading distribution channel, our most important distribution channel. So Bud supports us, and he has made it absolutely clear to me and my team that anything that he can do to engage with and support the travel trade community, he wants to do. So that's super exciting. And in terms of our group, right, because we're one quarter of CLIA. We've got government affairs, we've got maritime policy, we've got strategic communications, but then there's us, right? The travel trade membership, North American travel trade membership. We're super excited, Chris. We're focused on helping to gain a travel advisor's competitive advantage in 2025 and to use certification, using CLIA certification or even ASTA certification, just using certification to leverage yourself and create a competitive differentiator and drive business. And for us at CLIA, I always like to make things pretty catchy and easy to remember. I'm thinking Giga in 2025. Giga, right? G is to gain a competitive advantage. I is to increase your cruise sales productivity and your commission income. The second G is grow a portfolio or a book of business filled with loyal, repeat clients who would only go to you for their travel. And then A, achieve your maximum cruise sales potential through CLIA and through other training to help you make the most out of your cruise sales.
Giga, I
So we
love
got a
it.
lot going on.
That is fantastic. It's catchy, it's easy to remember. And I think between you and me, Charlie, I think so many agents leave money on the table by not being proud and not reminding clients of the investment they make in whether it's their CLIA certification, whether it's their ASTA certification, whether it's the fact that they've taken their business and invested in, say, even becoming a limited liability corporation. When you remind clients of those little steps and the professional steps that you take, it's amazing how that resonates. And that's dollars and cents on the table, right?
That's absolutely right. And I don't want to leave out the Travel Institute too, because, the three of us, we all work together. ASTA, CLIA, the Travel Institute. We're all brothers and sisters together in trying to support the travel advisor community and help them really elevate themselves. And you just said it, Chris. It's really about leveraging your professional credentials. It's about thinking of yourself, having that professional mindset. And, you see me, I'm at my work office here, but I'm dressed in a shirt and a tie. And I'll oftentimes put on a tie because this is my career. This is my job. Right. And even though I'm working from home, I want to have that comportment of a professional at all times. And so I'm not saying wear ties and dresses, folks, but what I'm saying is it's a mindset. It's that professional mindset. And you were spot on, Chris.
By the time this airs, Cruise 360, one of my favorite events every year, will be just a couple weeks away. So, probably at this point, no reason to inspire people to attend because knowing Cruise 360 and that amazing program, it's going to be a sellout anyway. But let's still preview the event if we can, Charlie, and talk about how important it is to engage with amazing things like Cruise 360 as a business owner and some of the things that's going to make the 2025 edition so special.
Well, Chris, you're absolutely right. By the time the show opens on April 22nd, we will be in a sold out status. We've got a handful of seats left. It is our 20th anniversary of Cruise 360. So we're super duper excited. Not only is it Cruise 360's 20th anniversary, it's also CLIA's 50th anniversary of being the global cruise industry trade association and the unifying voice for our global cruise community. So super duper special. 20th for Cruise 360, 50th for CLIA. It's also my 10th anniversary as MC of Cruise 360. So we've got a special theme that we're going to reveal at the general session. And for the first time ever, past themes have involved, Ted Lasso with Believe in Cruise and Willy Wonka with using your pure imagination to gain more business. But this year's theme is going to be extra special because it's going to transcend the Cruise 360 ballroom, and it's going going to actually be a year-long campaign that we use for CLIA, for our travel advisor community, so that we can help leverage the communications that CLIA puts out on social media, both at Cruise 360 and beyond, and also help them throughout the year create awareness, dispel some myths and misperceptions, and drive more business, new to cruise business.
Charlie, I want to take a second and congratulate you on your 10-year anniversary of hosting. You do an amazing job. And I always find that you have that perfect mix about enthusiasm from yourself without overshining and still allowing the people that are being honored on that special night to get that full honor. So congratulations on 10 years, hopefully a long time to come, because I could hear you read the phone book. It's just, you just have one of those voices that I find very soothing.
My mother always said, Chris, that I have a face for radio, and I'm just kidding. No, but thank you for that. That's so kind. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that we've got some incredible Hall of Fame entertainment coming up. It's going to be the biggest Hall of Fame entertainment we've ever had. And can I just say for a moment that the team at CLIA absolutely is gaga for Jeff Anderson. We love Jeff Anderson, and he did such an incredible job as the moderator of our cruise line presidents panel last year that we're bringing back Jeff. We want more Jeff in our lives, and we've created a panel not of cruise line presidents, but of travel trade titans. So we're going to have the leaders of some of the biggest travel companies in the country on our big stage, including Jeff Anderson representing Avoya Travel, and it's going to be moderated by none other than the incomparable president of Azamara, Dondra Ritzenthaler, ECC.
Woo, that should be something special. So we're very proud of Jeff, and that should be an amazing panel. As you said, he did a great job. So nice to see Jeff getting a chance to, host this special panel again in the 2025 edition. I think we've talked about this maybe in the past, but I think it's a point always, worth revisiting, Charlie. But I'm assuming as many people as you talk to, those that are attempting to become successful, those that have hit their stride, and those that continue to grow year after year, that you have to notice there are certain traits in those winners that percolate amongst that keep popping up. Care to share with me some of those traits that you find that are successful in people?
Well, I think that the ones who are most successful are the ones that you see in terms of travel advisors, you see owning cruise. They own it. And I think about myself, and that's what my travel agency owner back in 94, and I worked in a brick and mortar. He said, I want you to own this thing. I want you to represent the entire industry, Charlie. And that's exactly what we did. He said, you're going to take your learnings from CLIA and you're going to become that unofficial CLIA ambassador. When they come out with a new, and I'm not trying to make this a CLIA commercial, Chris, by any means, because you can do this with ASTA as well, right? When CLIA comes out with a new report or some new information that's thought-provoking, you've got to become that evangelist for cruise travel. Get out there. Set up some speaking engagements to local groups, neighborhood associations, alumni associations. You hear me talk about this all the time. Getting out there and spreading the word and representing yourself. Reach out to the local media and say, hey, if you're a current member of CLIA, you can say this. You can say, hey, I represent I represent the Global Cruise Line Trade Association. I'm an active member. If you're certified, you can say that you're certified. And we just came out with the state of the cruise industry. And I'd love to share some of the latest trends in cruising with you. If you reached out to a travel editor with that kind of information, what do you think they're going to do? You can provide credentials. You can show your CLIA Embark ID or your membership validation on our website. You can show your certificates of certification. You're not even going to need to do that. You coming out at them like that and saying that, they're going to say, yeah, we'd love to hear the latest trends. Remember, you own this information as current CLIA members. Avoya Travel is a CLIA premier member. You're at the top of the echelon, creme de la creme. So you have the ability to leverage CLIA assets, whether it's research, business analytics, any of our reports. You can leverage that, talk to the media, get free media, what they call, Chris knows as well, earned media attention, because you're putting yourself out there as an expert in cruise travel. You're taking the message to the streets. And by doing that, by doing interviews in print and local cable access shows, and I'm not talking big stuff. I'm not talking the Today Show, but get onto your local cable access show and talk about cruise with a news outlet. By doing that, you're taking the message to the street. You're hitting so many people. You're getting so much free publicity, and that's what's going to fill your inbox with new prospect inquiries. That's what's going to make your phone ring. I'm getting a little carried away, Chris.
But it's
I'm
good
very
stuff,
excited.
Charlie. It's good stuff because having been in the media myself, I can tell you that there's so much content that needs to be filled. The bar is not that high to get on the show. I'm just being honest with you. If you make yourself the expert, and those producers all talk, so once you are a hit on somebody's show, other producers are going to reach out. It just kind of it was a cycle for itself. So, how about a couple of tips that are just practical for somebody that's brand new? 2025, they finally said, you know what, I'm going to start making my dreams come true. How do they end up having a great year, Charlie? Just a couple of practical tips for getting out of the gate in a good way.
Leverage your calendar. That's my biggest piece of advice. Leverage your calendar, make it your Bible, right? Again, it's about that professional mindset. I don't want you to think of yourself as someone who is just a salesperson. You are a relationship person. You're a professional. You're no different than a certified financial planner. You're no different than an accountant or a lawyer or someone or an insurance professional. You are a professional. So make your calendar your Bible. Make sure you schedule everything and that you hold yourself accountable. Even schedule learning opportunities. If there's a webinar, if there's a cruise line course that you want to complete, maybe a cruise line academy, put it in your calendar, follow your calendar, set reminders, make yourself accountable, and get the word out about your business. Now, a lot of travel advisors find frustration, right? Working with family and friends. Well, you know what? If I'm getting started in this business again, I'm reaching out to family and friends not to solicit their business. I'm reaching out to them to spread the word, right? If you ask them to spread the word and you share with them bullets about what value you offer your clients and how you make the experience different and more valuable for them, if you ask your friends and family to spread the word about you and your career, it's not going to be you're not pushing them, right? They will you're pulling them, right? Because they're saying to themselves, wow, all these things that Charlie's doing for his clients. Well, maybe my trip, maybe I should reach out to him for my trip. So again, don't beat yourself over the head trying to book your friends and family. Get them to be amplifiers of the service and your value that you carry, and they will book with you. And then don't try to eat the elephant in one bite. You eat an elephant one bite at a time. If you're into cruise, there's 3-4 different categories of cruise, contemporary, premium, ultra premium, luxury, ultra luxury. Pick 2 suppliers from each category, right? To learn about initially. 2 suppliers from each category to learn about initially and learn about them. Don't try to take 5 different academies for 5 different cruise lines at the same time, because you're going to forget all of them and you're going to drive yourself nuts. Anyway, saying a lot here, but practical advice.
Absolutely. Charlie, before we wrap up today on Deck with Avoya, any closing thoughts that you have that you think are just vital to our conversation that you want to share?
I'm just grateful, and my team and I are both grateful for Avoya Travel. And whether it's the work that we do with the Avoya Travel Academy or Avoya Travel itself, and all of your IAs, and we just love you guys. You've seen me on the conference cruises before. It'd be my privilege to see you at conference again. Just thank you for being part of CLIA. Please do, if you haven't renewed or joined CLIA in 2025, please do. You can go to cruising.org and click log in, and it takes you through step by step. And just thank you. Thank you all for your support of CLIA and for your loyal membership every year.
So, Charlie, my final question, we can end this with a great exclamation point, but why should an agent be excited for the future of both the cruise industry and leisure travel in general?
Oh, that's easy, Chris. That's absolutely easy, because the best is yet to come. We're just scratching the surface on this. When you think 19 million Americans are expected to cruise in 2025. 19 million. Well, there's 340 million Americans. And that 19 million, that's not unique cruisers, right? That's just cruises. So a lot of those are repeaters throughout the same year. So we're just scratching the surface. When you think about if you added up every single cruise ship or stateroom and suite on every single cruise ship around the world, it equals less than 2% of the world's hotel rooms. So we have a massive opportunity ahead of us. We don't compete with one another because there's business out there for everyone. And just keep presenting your value, keep differentiating yourself by making yourself into an expert, and spread the word, not only about cruise travel, about what you are and the value you provide.
Charles Sylvia, ECC, everyone, Vice President of Trade Relations, Special Envoy for CLIA. Always a pleasure, Charlie. See you in Fort Lauderdale in a couple of weeks at Cruise 360, my friend.
Thank you, Chris. I look forward to it.
Absolutely. We've got more On Deck with Avoya coming up here in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. So that is going to wrap it up today for our show On Deck with Avoya. But before we go, a little bit of housekeeping. The Avoya Travel Academy, wow, they just continue to do amazing work, and they've really simplified the pricing while enhancing the program to get certified as a new travel agency new to our industry. Get that foundation set. Sponsored by Norwegian Cruise Lines, Colette Tours has the special agent training from Special Needs at Sea. So amazing you can get certified for that. So check it all out, the Avoya Travel Academy at avoyatravelacademy.com. Now, if you're an experienced, ready to go agent and you're ready to join the Avoya Network, well, reaching out at avoyanetwork.com is vital. Get the process started, get connected with a specialist, ask your questions, hear our rich story, see how deep our resources go, and just see how they're all designed to help an agent make more money selling leisure travel. The number one goal, right? Of course, you can always follow the latest happenings of On Deck with Avoya or Avoya Travel in general by following us on our social media channels at Avoya Travel Network, or go old school. Send me an email, chris.green, that's GREENE at avoyatravel.com. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Have a great month, and we'll see you back here in May when it's Travel Agent Appreciation Month. Until then, take care, my friend.